representing the Quality of Life Practicum group. We named ourselves La Dolce Vita, which is the sweet life. And our focus has been getting children and parents reading. I want to introduce the rest of my group. The first one is handling the mouse, Shirley Cunningham. Also, there's me, Paul Curtis. Kathleen Dreesen is here. Michael Haas in the back, the pink shirt, and Liz Primore Davis here in the front. When we sat down in our first meeting, and most of our meetings were during lunchtime with a couple bottles of wine. La Dolce Vita, right? Some fantastic food we prepared. There was a lot of brainstorming about what we wanted to do, and we were thinking about what does quality of life mean to you? And we went around the table, and each of us kind of shared what it meant to us. And we were thinking, family and make our quality of life better. And so our next area was to kind of, okay, let's narrow down what we want to focus on. And our focus really became, let's try to get people out to take advantage of the climate of Napa Valley. And let's come up with some sort of biking or hiking guide that would help people take advantage of the climate and do outdoor activities. And we talked about putting in biking trails and marking off trails and all sorts of stuff. And I remember coming home after our first meeting and telling my wife about this. And she just kind of gave me this weird look and said, "That's what you guys are doing? That's leadership in Napa Valley?" And then we went to Health and Human Services Day, which probably for most of us is going to be one of the most powerful days in leadership in Napa Valley. And I personally went out and visited. I was shadowing a person who dealt with emergency family shelters. And I don't know if you're aware, but Napa has the policy that no child will sleep on the streets. And so we have a variety of safeguards in place to handle this. And I was out visiting these various shelters. And the thing I noticed very quickly, being in education, is that the facilities had toys, they had the basics, of life, and oftentimes a TV, but what they didn't have is books. You just didn't see them around, and it might have to do with socioeconomic class or other issues, but the fact that they had stuffed animals and little video games and fire engines, but no books, to me was kind of tragic. I have a 2-year-old, and I can't tell you how many times I've read Goodnight Moon to my child. I mean, anyone who's had a child knows that it is an incredible bonding time. Not only on the education side for getting the kids vocabulary and sentence structure and communication skills, but the research shows that it's a very strong bonding time between the parent and child. It's a comfortable time, it's low energy time where the child's imagination can be expressed. And so, we kind of came back from that with a new plan. We were sitting around the table, we were kind of still talking about the biking trail, and I kind of meekly said, what if we do this? And suggested that what we really want to do is to make the shared reading experiences between the parent and child a very commonplace for all children in Napa, not just the affluent and well-educated. And so our product then began to change, that we wanted to provide books and resources to these shelters that would allow or encourage the parent and child to read together. We've decided to kind of focus at first on Samaritan House, which is down on Redwood Road, because there's a house that I visited, and that's where it first struck me. The goal was, if we can focus on one house and make a difference there, if the program is big, we can expand it to make it bigger, but we'll start in one place and try to make a difference. What's also neat about the Samaritan House is right behind it they're building the Los Niños Daycare Center, which will service a large population of people. Samaritan House itself only has maybe 6 or so families, 8 families, 7 families for up to 90 days in emergency shelter. So goal number 1, we got to get books. Where are we going to get books? So we started looking at books. bookstores, and Kathleen actually found a good friend with Friends of the Library and with the Literary Center to start getting books. And so far we have collected 200 books and delivered them to the shelter, which I thought was kind of cool. One of the problems though is that we delivered the books and there's no bookshelves. They had no place to put them. They had these little kind of roll around things, and you can see the toys were in them. And we said, oh, that's no good. So, and the TV was kind of over in the corner where you couldn't really block it off. So we had, Mike was able to find a fantastic partner for us, Plaza Innovations, who came out, actually designed this set of bookshelves, and then one Saturday showed up, delivered all the materials, and told us, well, in about 2 hours or so, you guys should be able to get this done. And about 8 hours later, they had a wonderful bookshelf where the TV could be locked up when it wasn't needed, but where they could store their books. Step number 3 for us is really to provide some sort of education for people, because they might not know the potential value of reading to kids. So we have obtained about 25 copies or so of Read Aloud, which is a book kind of explaining the benefits of reading to children. And the hope is that as part of the orientation or on a regular basis, that there is some education going on in the shelters to get families to understand the importance of reading to kids. I forgot to also mention that we were providing book bags. We were able to get some book bags donated. So that, and one of the key points is that we wanted to make sure that kids had books of their own. So at the bottom here, we talked about having stickers that would be inside the book where the kids could write their name, and that book would be their own. They'd take it with them. It wasn't something that was owned by the shelter, but it was something that was owned by them. We also wanted to create, and it's in your handouts, a bookmark that could be passed out with the orientation materials that the shelter provides when people show up, as well as kind of a fact sheet of here are the benefits of reading. Again, in Spanish and English, in order to try to encourage encourage the parents to do their reading with their kids. It wouldn't be enough just to pass it on. Goal number 4, we kind of publicize this because we want to get out there. We've got 200 books, but we want to get more. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we were in the Marketplace magazine. Kathleen did a wonderful job of writing up articles. She also got us into the Register and the Community Brief section, maybe 4 or 5 paragraphs. Today, she was on KVON talking about a program along with another practicum group here. We sent out 450 letters that talked about our program and also encouraged people to make donations so that we could buy more books. And then lastly, we managed to get ourselves into the Community Action Annual Fundraiser, so we have an ongoing process of informing the public about what we're doing. And probably the biggest one for us that we debated about a lot was how are we going to make sure this can be sustainable, because it's one thing to drop off 200 books, and it's another thing to really have a program that allows this to continue for an extended period of time and really gets institutionalized into the network that provides housing for these individual families in crisis. The first, I think, major accomplishment was we managed to get the Community Action Napa Valley to administer our funds, so that when we did get the donations, when we did get the funds, we'd have some place to put it, and there would be an account there that we could access from it. We have already received a lot of individual and corporate donations from local businesses. Friends of the Library has promised to continue to give us the support they have, where we can go, they will set aside books that are new and like new condition that we can pick up on a regular basis. We've managed to find in the Learning Fair a person who will help us select books that are popular and that have positive images, and that's through the Learning Fair. And then lastly, we in the last few weeks have begun to get significant contributions from the bookstores who really want to make our program sustainable. There are so many people to thank for the stuff that we've put together already. And Kathleen has some special people here she'd like to really focus on.
Several people in the audience. Francis Hauser from the Literacy Center, of course, started this off. Charlene Horton is the director
wanted to say, when the bookcase was put up, when we had this wall unit, Charlene gave me a call. It was one of these down days for me. I think it was a down week. What was it, down week? And she gave me a call. She says, Carmen, you gotta come here. You gotta come here. I get there, all the kids were waiting for me to get there. And what they wanted to do was show off that beautiful wall unit. I mean, they were so excited about the books, the wall unit, the TV was there, and they said, Charlene promised us beanbags too. I mean, it was just absolutely wonderful. We feel that, Charlene, about 30 to 50 kids per month will get new books, at least that, because those are how many homeless children we can have in a month. And then we said, well, you know what? We have a program, which is Los Niños program. It's a daycare program for the very, very poor children. And so we added that. That's reached approximately about 120 kids, including the therapeutic center at Health and Human Services. So this, for us, is a wonderful program. So far to date, I think we were down over $1,000, correct? And I've gotten at least 6 calls that I got return messages on folks that are actually donating all these books, Spanish and English, and they're just thrilled, and so are our kids. So I really thank you, Leadership Napa Valley. This is wonderful. It's something that we will continue to do here. We already have a database that our secretary has been actually checking what we get undeliverable mail. They follow them and try to see, keep up the database. But, can't thank you enough for the wonderful things that came in with it. Our kids are just thrilled and happy. And it's good for our parents too, because when they see, the parents actually reading to their children, it was quite touching. Huh, Charlene? Is there anything that you wanted to share with us?
Thank you.
Just thank you.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. And if you ever get a chance, come and see us. We have a beautiful shelter right behind